October is such a fun month for so many reasons, but I am hopping on here today because we have 2 days left to remind everyone that it is ADHD Awareness Month. Nothing like a deadline to get me to post something like this with 2 days to spare. But I wanted to share 5 things that you might not know about ADHD in women and girls, and also things to consider. I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 36, and it stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. That's a really silly name in my opinion because we have a lot of attention, it's just a little disorganized and having a party in its own little corner. It's like we're racehorses running through a corn maze. We are just a little distracted by all the twists and turns, but we are going to work really hard to find the finish line. Number 2, ADHD is really easy to misdiagnose and miss in girls and women because we present really differently than in boys. Boys stereotypically have been categorized by a lot of hyperactivity and impulsive behaviors that are very external, whereas a lot of girls and women have a lot of internal struggles with ADHD and hyperactivity. It wasn't until 1979, apparently, that some of the very first studies were involving girls in ADHD studies, and there's still some really lacking areas for longitudinal studies that show the effects of ADHD in girls all the way into adulthood. So, CDC has been saying that boys typically are diagnosed at a rate of about 15%, whereas girls are diagnosed at about 8%. Whereas in adulthood, it's actually about equal with the amount of frequency that there is ADHD between men and women. Which brings me to my third point, and that is the term ADD is outdated because the H, hyperactivity, has always been there, but it was missed often because it wasn't showing up in some test subjects that just had difficulty with focusing their attention. So ADD, you'll still hear it, but ADHD is the term because there are 3 types of ADHD. Number 1, first of all, this is my sport pumpkin because I fidget with my hands. Number 1, we have hyperactivity as well as impulsivity. So that is, you're either showing that externally by having a really hard time sitting still, or you have impulsive behaviors. An example of that would be interrupting people. But hyperactivity also can be internalized. And this is where it's really confusing, and how my diagnosis got missed for so long, I think, is I am really good at focusing. I can read a book for a long time. I can play a video game forever and forget lunch. I can plan a Disney vacation for 5 hours and forget to feed my family dinner. It's because those things are of high interest to me and I can hyper-focus. So it is a superpower in some ways. But that is how it was missed. 2, you can also have inattentive type. Inattentive type might look like you're a daydreamer. You are in the room, but you're maybe not absorbing the information. You're thinking about a lot of other things. Or you are listening, but you're just not making eye contact. Those are some examples. You're also very easily distracted and have highly selective hearing. Those again are just a few examples of what inattentive type can be. And the most common is combined type, so you are showing both of those symptoms. The way that looks for me, again, is my hyper-focus or my racing thoughts that I have, and a lot of that is internalized. I do some fidgeting, but also with combined type, I am also having a really hard time absorbing information. I might need to study for a test way longer. I might need to really prepare for a phone conversation and what I'm going to listen to with instructions if they're not written down. So those are just some examples of the 3 different types and why ADD is old school. Why am I seeing so many people that are getting diagnosed? Everyone has ADHD now. Should I get diagnosed? Those are some questions that I've received. So, does everyone have ADHD? No, the research is not showing that. I think you're just seeing a high percentage of people that are posting their stories to raise awareness, like me. I think that getting diagnosed is a very personal choice. I wanted to get diagnosed because I felt like I wanted that validation to really have a strong handle, and also because the symptoms that I was experiencing were impacting my life and in negative ways, and I needed help. So I hope for you and anyone that would need it that you are able to go to your doctor to first have that conversation, and then also a lot of insurance plans have becoming more and more inclusive of mental health and being able to get the care that you need. Those are things to ponder about why you might want to get diagnosed, but at the same time, I think there's a lot you can do even just by yourself. So once you have those thoughts that maybe I am going through some ADHD symptoms, maybe I do have this, if you feel that you can make those adjustments yourself and kind of give yourself that grace just by having this switch flipped on, then I think that's awesome and you should roll with it. And my last, number 5, things to think about and share is, what has life been like since I was diagnosed, and was it worth it? So worth it? Yes, absolutely. I think anytime that you're newly diagnosed, though, especially later in life, I was relieved to have an answer and to feel that validation, but it was also a little sad for my past self. There is definitely that grieving process of all the times that you were really hard on yourself when there was a reason. So getting that diagnosis really helped me better understand my brain and how I think. I am not broken, but it just really helped me make sense of me, and then moving forward, it helps me catch those negative thoughts so much better than ever before. Another thing that came out of this was learning that it can be hereditary, so looking for signs in my own children and making sure that they're okay and that they have the support that they need. If there is a way that I could give the gift of early diagnosis to make sure they feel supported, or to at least know that when things get tough, there could be a reason for it. It's not an excuse to get a free pass on certain things in life, but it certainly can help you understand the way that you think compared to some of your peers, because we are in a world where we're constantly comparing ourselves. We're human. But also, lastly, it gave me a lot of grace when it comes to mess inside your home, putting things away, creating habits that are helpful. So I'm excited that since getting diagnosed, I've really tried to make a mission around my house to make things more ADHD friendly, and it has really helped. I'm in the thick of it. This is our playroom, and I get to organize it and declutter it. I'm so excited. This is a hyper-focus area. This is like one of my jams, and it's also a new career path that I'm pursuing. So I'm really excited to find those hacks and find those ways to make things just a little easier. So it's easier here, it's easier for my family, but it's also a lot clearer and easier up here. So thanks for listening to the end. I got a little long-winded, but happy ADHD Awareness Month. Have an amazing Halloween, have an amazing Diwali, and catch you soon.